afternoon, hello, and welcome to the Omni Coalition News Show, aka TOCNS. This show is an amalgam of strange, weird, bizarre, off-the-wall, and otherwise things you don't normally see anymore from most news sources these days. During a time of political overabundance and divisiveness, we present you with more unifying topics to discuss for the most part. For links to those articles, to music in the background, and anything else potentially interesting, check the underbar of the description below. Anyway, I am Alexander, and you viewer are you. Today is Thursday, aka Friday, June 16th, 2023. So let's get into the news today, shall we? Starting us off here in Oddity Central, this weird rifle-shaped photography cage looks like a very bad idea. Yeah, I've seen the picture, and you'll see here in a second, but you can already see the scope, yeah. It says here, the TOCNS is an unusual camera cage for photography enthusiasts who need multiple mounting points for various accessories, as well as stability and better camera handling. It's also shaped like an assault rifle. If you're a photographer who's also into guns, you'll probably love this design of the TOCNS. It combines the functionality and convenience of a high-quality camera cage with the aesthetics of a modern assault rifle. It even features a trigger to activate the shutter or lock the cage to ensure that the shutter doesn't accidentally get pressed. You actually use it by pressing the stock against your shoulder and looking into the camera display as you would into a gun scope, and then press the trigger to shoot, as in take a picture. But can you imagine using one of these things around police? Yeah, I'm pretty sure they won't much be too enthused about that. Yeah, that looks like a gun with a very high-powered scope. Like, I mean, when you stare at it, you can tell that there's no barrel and everything, but then it might be a snub nose. Not entirely sure, but yeah, that's a very not not good. Unless you're out with a hunting party and you just have a that and like, oh, I'm one of the hunters too. Look at me. I don't know. Anyway, let's move on up here. More from Oddity Central. Rare condition makes 23-year-old man look like 13-year-old boy. 23-year-old Luis Augusto Marquero Marquez stopped growing after undergoing a surgical procedure to remove a very rare and aggressive tumor. Today he looks like a 13-year-old boy. Luis, who is better known as Guto in his native city of Passo Fundo in southern Brazil, had a perfectly normal life until the age of 7, when he started experiencing excruciating headaches that began manifesting more frequently as time passed. None of the doctors his parents took him could diagnose his condition correctly, and the headache started affecting his school activity and his daily life. Some claimed that it was just a virus, while others said it was a psychological condition, or that he was just making everything up because he was lazy. It was only after the boy suffered a seizure that he was taken to the city hospital, where the real cases of his headaches were finally revealed, or real causes. Guto was diagnosed with craniopharyngomia, an ultra-rare type of brain tumor that affects about 1 in every million people. Doctors told the boy's aunt they would have to operate on him to remove part of the tumor, or he would die in a matter of days. However, the surgery itself posed many risks, as the tumor's location meant that Luis could lose his ability to walk, talk, or move his eyes, and his growth could be affected. In the end, the family decided to take the risk and save the boy's life. After the operation, Guto was placed in a glass room where he was monitored around the clock because the doctors wanted to see if he would suffer any seizures or display any unusual symptoms. Luckily, he recovered perfectly, but after performing a series of tests, doctors delivered some grim news. During the operation, Guto's pituitary gland had been affected, and he would most likely stop growing normally at some point. It could be within a year or 2 or 3, no one can tell for sure. He stopped growing around the time he turned 12, and today at the age of 23, he still looks at least a decade younger. So that sucks. But, yeah. 13 años, 23 años. I guess that's years. Man. But hey, at least he survived, But yeah. Anyway, let's move on up here. More from Oddity Central. Shockwave, the fastest jet engine-powered truck ever made. Trucks aren't usually built for speed, but in the right hands, they can become faster than any commercially available supercar, and there's no better proof than the legendary Shockwave, the fastest truck ever built. Originally built by the legendary Les Shockley in 1984, Shockwave was modified by Darnell Racing Enterprises and is still the Guinness record holder for the world's fastest jet truck. The heavily modified Peterbilt Semi had literally nothing under the hood, but that's because a jet truck doesn't need a diesel engine. Instead, this power plant on wheels featured 3 Pratt & Whitney J58S jet engines at the back, which could develop a total of 36,000 bhp, bird horsepower, I don't know, to propel Shockwave forward at, well, shocking speeds. It could cover a quarter mile in 6.5 seconds, while a supercar like the Lamborghini Aventador does it in only 10.4 seconds. So, wow. Yeah, a jet engine powered truck. That's, yeah, let's check a video out of this. Wow. Dude, it sounds like an F-16 prepping for takeoff, but it's a freaking truck! What is this madness? Oh my god. Wow. God bless America. Wow. Anyway, let's move on up here. What else do we have? This colossal apartment building is home to around 20,000 people. Is my music still playing? Yes, it is. Good. The Regent International Apartment Building in Hangzhou, China, is famous for having a number of inhabitants comparable to a small town, around 20,000 people. Located in Quanjiang Century City, Hangzhou's central business district, the S-shaped Regent International was originally designed as a luxury hotel, but was subsequently converted into a colossal apartment building, with the rooms turned into thousands of high-end residential apartments. The impressive building is 206 meters tall and has 36 to 39 floors, depending on what side of it you're on. And as any self-contained community, features a variety of amenities and businesses like a giant food court for its tens of thousands of inhabitants, as well as swimming pools, barbershops, nail salons, medium-sized supermarkets, and internet cafes. You can find anything you need in the building, so technically you don't even need to go outside. And that is actually disturbingly, horrifying. 15-minute city right there, guys. Like, why leave the chicken coop? Like, the doors are open, but everything you want and need is right there, so just stay in the prison, you know? Yikes. Absolutely terrifying. And of course it's in China. The model for the New World Order. Anyway, moving on up. More, actually from UPI here. Florida man's Dalmatian collection breaks world record. Well, I'll be doggone. A Florida man with a particular love of one specific dog breed earned a Guinness World Record for the largest collection of Dalmatian-related items with 1,152 pieces. Scott Erbsey of Fort Lauderdale said his collection began with a Dalmatian lap, and his parents bought him when he was just a baby in 1954, and his love of the dog breed really took off a few years later when he started to idolize firefighters. Quote, my parents brought home a 1963 located in, my parents bought a home in 1963 located in Silver Spring, Maryland, fortunately across the street from the volunteer fire station. Arabelle told Guinness World Records, the alerting siren would blow and I would run to the firehouse, answer the phone, and open the doors for the arriving firefighters. End quote. Well, that's cool. And he became a firefighter himself as a teenager when he became 16. That's awesome. So, I mean, that's a lot of Dalmatian paraphernalia right there. So, but yeah, like as usual, like for further reading on this subject, any others before and after, like links to all these articles are in the underbar of the description below. And here we go, more from UPI. Korean convenience stores selling gold bars and vending machines. Oh, what? The popularity of gold bars is surging at convenience stores around South Korea as the value appreciates amid strong inflationary pressure across the globe. GS Retail confirmed Friday that sales of gold bars at its convenience stores totaled $19 million in the past 9 months, ending in May. The gold bars dispensed through vending machines were introduced last September at 5 of its stores. The machines offer 5 sizes, weighing from 0.13 ounces to 1.3 ounces. Prices fluctuate daily in keeping with the international valuation for gold, according to GS Retail, which operates more than 10,000 convenience stores all over South Korea. So that's really interesting. You just go to a convenience store and buy a gold bar from a vending machine. Like, now, I hope those vending machines are like secure as all hell, because that's worth even more than normal like vending machines just with cash. Just straight up gold bars in there. But that's cool. Like, that's really cool. I got to go to South Korea and stock up on gold here. Anyway, let's move on up. More from UPI. Missouri hotel agreed to honor 40-year-old gift certificate. Good. You know, you make the coupon, honor it. You know, expiration dates are just so lame. Such a cop-out. A Kansas City, Missouri hotel has agreed to honor a 40-year-old gift certificate found by a local couple in their wedding album. Tim and Melinda O'Brien said they spent their wedding night in 1983 at the old Muabaha Hotel. The couple, preparing to celebrate their 40th anniversary on June 25th, said they recently found a 40-year-old gift certificate to the hotel. Pardon me. So that's pretty cool. So the hotel said it will honor the 40-year-old gift certificate, which states that the bearer can use it in any year of the month with their wedding anniversary to stay at the same price as their wedding night, in this case, $38! Wow! Dude, that's cool. That's really cool. Just the concept of that coupon itself, you know, drum up repeat business, give them a discount, you know, but to honor it 40 years later, that is really, really cool. And if I had the money, I'd love to go and stay at this place just to give them a little bit of business. They deserve it. Really, really, really awesome. Let's move on up here. And actually, I wonder if I have any comments. I do. Should make it orange or some other color to differentiate. What are you talking about? Anyway. Let's see here. More from UPI. Sri Lanka doctors remove 5.26 inch, 1.76 pound kidney stone from patient. Yikes! And as you can see here, he's holding it. That thing looks like the size of an onion. They removed an onion from this guy. That's horrifying. Surgeons at a hospital in Sri Lanka said a patient underwent surgery to remove a massive kidney stone that measured 5.26 inches long and weighed 1.76 pounds. Dr. Kugayos Susasaran and the urological team at Army Hospital in Colombo performed surgery on Kansis Kogudi, 62, to remove the colossal stone from his right kidney. Yikes. This broke the Guinness World Record for the largest kidney stone ever recorded. The previous largest stone, which measured 5.11 inches long, was removed from a patient in India in 2004. So, seeing a recurring theme here. Sri Lanka is somewhere around India, so they gotta start changing their diets out. That's absolutely disgusting and horrifying at the same time. Let's move on up here. What else do we have? More from UPI. California's Speedcuber solves 3x3x3 Rubik's Cube in 3.13 seconds. And I actually saw a clip of this the other day. Like, so here we go. They don't start the timer. He's just observing it, looking at the colors, figuring out a plan. And I think he sets it down. They start the timer. Yeah. Whoa! That's astounding. I don't even need to read this. Like, that sells itself right there. So... but if anybody wants to read it, you know, the link to this is in the underbar, the description. So, you know, please go give this a look. They put in the hard work of making these articles. They deserve the foot traffic. Please go give them a look. Moving on up, more from UPI. First edition of 1984 returned to Oregon Library after 65 years. Nice. That's a museum piece right there. An Oregon library said a copy of George Orwell's 1984 was recently returned 65 years late with an apologetic note from the patron. The Multnomah County Library in Portland said the first edition book was returned recently with a note explaining the now 86-year-old patron had checked the tome out as a Portland State University student. Quote, sorry to be tardy, end quote, the note reads. Age 86, I want to finally clear my conscience. The library said there will be The library said there will be no overdue fees for the tome as the facility is now fine free. Oh, he lucked out. But man, dude, like a first edition 1984, that is, man, like that's a hard thing to give up. But you know, like salute to you, 86-year-old guy. What's his name? I guess it doesn't say his name. But yeah, like hats off to you, man. That's a hard thing to give up. Like I would have kept it, honestly. Anyway, moving on up, more from UPI. Indian teenager dances for 127 hours to break world record. Ooh. All right. A 16-year-old girl in India broke a Guinness World Record by dancing for 127 hours with only brief breaks. Surshi Shiruder Jangtap took to the auditorium of her school in the morning of May 29th and kept dancing until the afternoon of June 3rd after 127 hours of moving to the music. So she was allotted 1 5-minute break each hour, which she was allowed to accumulate for longer breaks, which she mostly took late at night. All right, that's pretty cool. Let's see here. More we got here from NPR. The special ingredient for Mars travel meal prep: astronaut breath. What? The ingredients for space yeast are fairly simple. Astronaut breath, water, yeast starter, electricity, a rolling pin, and we can make it happen. Stafford Sheehan, a finalist in the NASA-sponsored Deep Space Food Challenge, told NPR, put air, water, and yeast starter into Sheehan's handy machine. Wait about 2 hours and voila, a protein shake textured yeast that can be dried and rolled into pasta or tortillas. This is where the rolling pin comes in. So she had, back in 2017, she had invented a process that can turn carbon dioxide into alcohol, which can then be turned into vodka, perfume, and yeast. His company, Air Company, which he founded with his friend Gregory Constantine, is now in third and final phase of the international contest to create novel, game-changing food technologies for long-term space missions. All right. We're getting ready to go to Mars. Well, at least, the rich people are. Not us, of course. But, we inherit the world they destroy. That's how it goes. Moving on up to Associated Press. Drug syndicate hid meth in Canadian maple syrup. Canola oil bound for down under, authorities say. All right. So, your maple syrup's already good, Canada. And that's kind of what you're known for, other than moose and hockey. And being the United States' hat. Or trucker cap, so to speak. But you don't need to put methamphetamine into that. A drug syndicate that tried to smuggle tons of methamphetamine from Canada to Australia and New Zealand by hiding it in shipments of maple syrup and canola oil has had its ruse busted, authorities said Thursday. Authorities from the three nations said they worked together for more than 5 months to unravel the elaborate scheme that was worth billions of dollars. Authorities in New Zealand and Australia say they made a dozen arrests and expect more to come, while Canadian authorities said they are still investigating the case and aren't providing all the details. Australian police said they intercepted 4 separate hauls of meth weighing more than 6 tons and filed charges against 6 men. So, wow. They said that in January, Canadian authorities alerted them that 2,900 liters, or 766 gallons, of liquid meth had been hidden in 180 bottles of canola oil bound for Australia. Oh, man, and it goes on from there. So, please, click the link in the underbar of the description below to get the full story. That's wild. It's a drug syndicate busted. That doesn't happen every day. Coming out of Canada, going to Australia and New Zealand, no less. I got to send that to Alice. So hold on. Give me un momento. I need to send Alice a DM, and there it is. All right. Moving on up, more from AP. Illinois man charged after telling police he shot himself in the leg during a dream about home intruder. Are you sleeping with your hopefully my recording is still recording. Are you sleeping with your gun in your hand? That's weird. And I said hopefully my recording is recording because my screen just died for half a second there. Let's see here. A suburban Chicago man is facing firearm charges after he told officers he accidentally shot himself in the leg while dreaming that an intruder was breaking into his home, police said. The Lake Barrington man was charged about 2 months after Lake County Sheriff's deputies were called to his home on April 10th on a report about a person with a gunshot wound. Deputies who found this... Come on, screen. Stop doing that. Let's go. Deputies who found a 62-year-old man with a gunshot wound to one of his legs applied a tourniquet to the limb because he, quote, was losing a significant amount of blood, end quote, before being hospitalized, police said. Wow. So, well, yeah, what do you do? Are you coddling your gun, while you're snooze cruising? That's cruising for a bruising with that man, or for a bullet in the leg in this case. Anyway, more from AP. No more rides to hell on bus 666 in Poland. Aww. From Warsaw, Poland, there will be no more going to hell on bus 666. The bus to the town of Hell on Poland's Baltic coast has long been popular with tourists, but some Christian and come on, screen, stop it. Some Christian conservatives have protested the number signifying the devil on a bus leading to a place that sounds like the word hell in English. The local bus operator, PKS Gdynia, announced this week that bus 666 will no longer run to hell. It said it had flipped the last number and would now run the line under the number 669 starting on June 24th. Local media said the bus company acted under the pressure of Christian groups who had pushed for the change, but were already thinking of returning to the old number amid a public outcry over the change. Yeah, you should put it back. You know, don't cave to the masses, like especially the Christians. Like you know, they'll yeah, like everybody will take over. Like so, no, especially anybody. Like when you give a mouse a cookie, yeah. Anyway, moving on up from Ripley's. Family finds hidden crawl space with 1 million pennies inside. Wow. That's a lot. What would you do if you found 1 million pennies? A family in California found a gigantic hidden stash of the copper coins, but they are having a difficult time cashing them in. Even banks do not want to deal with the hassle of all those pennies, which would take 2 to 3 trucks to move. Some of the coins are still contained in bank-sealed bags and boxes. Some are from financial institutions that no longer exist. Wow. So and they have a from here from ABC. I'm not going to play it because it might be copyright. But please, I'm gonna watch this after the show here. That's how much money is $10,000. Wow, that's a hell of a find. You know, for $10,000, I'll hand roll all of those pennies or something. I don't know. Anyway, let's move on up here. 400 plus ancient Maya cities connected by superhighways. President Dwight D. Eisenhower signed legislation to fund the U.S. Interstate Highway System, the IHS, on June 29, 1956. This move satisfied a decades-old dream of uniting the nation from sea to shining sea. It also killed a couple of birds with one stone. First, it provided escape routes for U.S. citizens should the Cold War deteriorate into a nuclear conflict. Second, it led to Eisenhower capitalize on lessons learned from Europe's Autobahn and the first transcontinental motor convoy. You know, sorry to say, thank you, Hitler, for the invention of freeways. Eisenhower's efforts birthed Route 66, one of the niftiest developments of his post-World War II America, and it sparked a car culture wildfire that continues to burn today. Think Fast and Furious, Gone in 60 Seconds, and Ford versus Ferrari. But scientists recently revealed the U.S. has nothing on the Mesoamerica regarding the first superhighways. Here's what you need to know about the ancient transportation network that once united 400 plus Maya cities. So all roads lead to El Mirador. So what is this? So this is a short video on the TOCNS that I'm not going to watch because that's a company I do not approve of. But using LiDAR tech, this is interesting. So yeah, once again, like you know, I it seems like almost every link needs some attention from you viewers because this is all some crazy wacky stuff here. Last but not least here, the incredible story of the students who stole the Stone of Destiny. What? It's almost, picture this, it's almost Christmas, 1950, and while most folks are merely sipping their eggnog at home, poor Glasgow students with a burning passion for Scottish nationalism are about to pull off the heist of the century. To understand how things got to that point, we need to go back a few centuries. Enter the Stone of Destiny, also known as the Stone of Scone, a 336-pound slab of pale pink sandstone that has been used in the coronation of Scottish kings for centuries. Legends about it abound. Perhaps the stone is the biblical Jacob's pillow. Perhaps it was part of the Roman Antonine Wall. Either way, King Edward I stole it from the Scots during the Independent Wars in the 13th century and brought it to the England's Westminster Abbey, where the unassuming block of stone was mounted under an oak coronation chair and, you guessed it, used during the coronation of English monarchs from then on. So then, December 1950, with a team of 4 Scottish students of Ian Hamilton, Kay Matheson, Gavin Vernon, and Alan Stewart, set out to reclaim the stone and bring it back home. So it looks like they stole it, and it looks wasn't an easy task, and on the first night they tried breaking into Westminster Abbey, Hamilton was caught by a security guard who let him off with a warning. The group returned on Christmas Day, and this time it all worked out so well, it was almost like a Hollywood heist movie. After jimmying the Abbey's door open in the middle of the night, the group managed to remove the stone from under the throne, only to have it break in two. Yikes. So, yeah. I want to read more of this after the show. But I don't want to dilly-dally too much on one article. I want to pressure people into going and, giving these people who put in the work, go give them the view. So that shall conclude the show. Once again, you can check the underbar in the description for any links you may find interesting, including but not limited to all things Omni Coalition. For your dose of different, odd, and unusual news, we stream every Tuesday and Friday at 3 p.m. Pacific Time, which is 4 p.m. Mountain, 5 Central, and 6 Eastern Standard Time, respectively. For all of you and all of us, I'm Eo Xander, and you are you. And until you catch us next Tuesday, or if you're interested in some history, we have a history show every morning at 11 in the morning Pacific Time, and we have the Kick Peanut, a shoot the shit, whatever goes talk show style thing. We just have all sorts of whatever topics going on in that. It's fun. Come and join us at the Kick Peanut every Sunday at 3 p.m. Pacific Time. Until next time you see us, until then, don't forget to look right and left at every intersection, rate 5 thumbs, and subscribe. Toodles!